Okay, we are live. Oh, hey, good morning, Michelle. You're on early.
Good morning.
All right. Patrick, we're gonna decline your offer. See, we just gotta be honest about this stuff. We have a hot date of Diablo 4 today.
Plus, I have a project I want to make.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to share about your project?
Well, it's an arts and crafts, but I can't because the people who I'm giving it to probably might be watching. So I don't want to spoil it for them.
Those are even better arts and crafts projects.
Yeah, I'm hoping it turns out well. It's the first time I've done one of these types of arts and crafts, so we'll see how it turns out. And if it doesn't turn out, well, it's a thought that counts.
Absolutely. I did a mailbox this week replacement.
Oh.
And it doesn't sound exciting, but I took like every step of the way. Like I was just super slow and deliberate about it and didn't have that sense of urgency that we always get.
Rushing to nowhere?
Yeah, rushing to nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I won't lie, there are some points of the project where you're just like, just throw some paint on it. We're good from here. You just throw it, but I didn't. I worked through it. And I was very happy with how it ended up. Like I just enjoyed every step of the process.
Nice. That's always nice when you're done and you're very happy with how you progressed through the project. You didn't freak out, you didn't spaz out, nothing got broken, nothing got thrown across the lawn.
Right.
It all worked out. Yeah.
So I'll be 100% transparent about that. I tried that on my projects, Patrick, but if you live in the Midwest and it's a hot and humid day and you're digging a trench for electrical wire that's 150 feet long, you cannot find pleasure in this activity. I tried.
No.
I'm like, this, just embrace it. This is fun. I'm like, motherfucker.
Is it all the armed forces? I remember reading one thing on the Marines where they have manual workload times to breaks related to temperature and humidity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like
that's all in writing.
If it's over 90 degrees or something, you're basically like 15 minutes for a work hour, and then the next 45 minutes is like cool down. And I'm like, this is the people that have structured to defend our nation and understand the value of this work, and yet we have people just out there just like destroying their bodies for a living.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was saying, Patrick,
roofers and concrete workers and yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all in writing. It's not necessarily followed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it started. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Let's roll the intros and we'll get cracking.
This podcast contains adult themes and language. The views expressed here are our own opinions and experiences. We are not medical professionals.
In this podcast, we discuss our opinions about mental health, sobriety, addiction, and our pursuit of happiness and peace. This is Sober Mind.
Off to Hobbiton we go. I tell you, I think so. We were looking. I was looking for a while to find the what's it called? Not the hook for a show, but every time I hear this now, I'm like, oh, that's Sober Mind. It's good stuff.
It's one of my favorite cues now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It just transports me.
Yep.
It's like happiness.
Real quick, I want to talk about some hell of a week. We got a lot to catch up on. Check out the new backdrop, Patrick.
Some bust.
It is.
You must increase your bust.
Yeah.
Is tacky chic.
I love it, man. Look at
it.
I took the TV down. It was too much back there. It gets hot, by the way, when that TV's on.
Creates a lot of heat in
And
here.
so this is all, the garage sales around here during this time of year. $5 for each one of those things. I was like, ooh, I gotta have a Beethoven and then a David for no odd reason.
Yeah.
You've seen it here first. People be like, no, who has a bust of that in their backdrop for a podcast? Sober Mind, you saw it first.
I was just hoping it was David, not like Caligula or something like that.
Right. Some other famous person for genocide or something like that.
Yeah.
I got the itch to change mine. I went to the downtown days.
Oh,
buried
yeah.
In one of the sons, the bonsai tree guy was there, and I was like, oh man, I am like
Oh man.
That would have been awesome.
trying to like rationale. Like I've just gotten over like it's only in the last 2 years that I've actually started paying attention to green thumb and taking my time, and so I'm training wheels on easy plants like inchworm and pothos and succulents right now. But I was like, ooh, a bonsai tree. I was like, that is way out of my league. But
Oh, because I was gonna say,
Try
Patrick,
it.
if you want to get in on it,
Yeah.
I want to get one. I like a legit one that cost Bonsai World like $200, but you can
Right.
spend thousands. But I do want to get one. But
you-
if you
same
want a
with
bunch,
alcohol, right?
yeah.
You can spend a crap ton of money and not even blink an
Oh,
eye.
yeah.
But if you want to get
In a day.
yeah.
In a day.
easy, hey Patrick, if you want to get started on those, I could give you a Monstera clone. Those things are so beautiful. It's
And
like
I
the
have-
pothos, but they rip in the middle of the leaves. You've seen them,
And I have tons of
spider
I
plants.
pronounce them pothos, but everybody pronounces them pothos. Anyway, I have tons of pothos clippings that I can generate for you and germinate, and they're ready to go in soil whenever you're ready. I'm sure you do. You've got some in the background, don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's why I want to like bring them down and show how awful I fail at growing them. Because I enjoy doing it. I'm like so excited because like for my entire life, whenever I was gifted a plant, it was just a matter of time how quickly I could kill it. So
Oh.
the fact that these have lasted years and I've actually repropagated them.
Nice. So your thumb is going from a little black to a little green.
Yeah, it's like,
Very
hey, I repropagated a pothos, and everybody's like, are you okay? That's like, they
It's
did
like
that on
beginner
their
stuff.
own."
Are you kidding me?
they do it. You can just throw it on the ground, then it'll do it on
Right.
its own. But hey, not to.
Right, not to burst your bubble there.
not to poo-poo you.
That's the fun thing about perspective. I'm like, no, I have a gift for killing it, and I didn't kill it. That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's very awesome.
That's me smashing the bag of Reese's, right?
Yep, there you go.
There's a guy at work that has his cubicle completely surrounded with those. You know who I'm talking about.
They took that away.
What?
They put the kibosh on it when they.
Oh, boy.
It was kind of devastating to him
I bet.
because he was on my team.
Yeah.
Oh
And it
boy.
broke my heart too, because they were just like, it was basically like Joe versus the volcano, or he's just like, they're like, you can have no joy in your cubicle space anymore. Take it all out.
You are now one of the cookie cutter ones.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's jump into it. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Mom.
There may or may not be a person watching this live stream today. I'm watching the viewer counts. So before I went to sleep last night, I was perusing my forums as I do, and there's a person on there who last night was around 30 hours of sobriety from some heavy duty shit.
Woohoo.
And
Go you.
they were going through serious withdrawals. They have their partner who is currently high still, so that's not good. So they're trying to figure out what to do. And Patrick, I took your words of wisdom. I posted in there good luck amongst a bunch of other rambling stuff. I posted our forum in here because I thought, hey, 40 hours in, this is something I might have wanted to watch. Just sit back, drink some tea, drink some water, stay hydrated, eat some protein and a bag of Reese's Pieces, and sit back and listen to us rant. So I hope they're doing well. Keep it up. I know we've been here.
We've been there.
Us three are alcoholics, and we know the drug scenes and all that good stuff. So
Yes.
I can't believe I'm saying it. Patrick just hit 990. Go ahead, say what you sent me. I
Oh,
got.
well, it's been Oh, yeah, I sent you the pic of my counter. It had 999 on it, so I said I had 999 days and a hangover ain't one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was a couple days ago. So well past 1,000. Good job,
That's
Patrick.
awesome. Congratulations.
But if that person is watching, please just rest assured. I know it's easy for people to say, and it's so cliche, but you will get out on the other side of this, and you'll look back and you'll think, man, this is a way better spot to be. Happiness will come.
Yes.
Peace and serenity will be there eventually. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not right now, but you gotta keep working at it. It's gonna come. And hey, I would encourage you to go to Al-Anon. At this stage, you
and they have Al-Anon groups online,
Yeah.
so you don't even have to leave your domicile. You can just log on to the Al-Anon groups and their Zoom chats. And,
Yeah. My big concern for this person is their partner is not getting sober
Still
and they're
imbibing.
into heavy stuff. So it's not something I could ever do. People of this channel know that Judy and I jumped into the sobriety together because we were both at the same low in our lives. And so it was easier.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend to reach out to other sober people to support. Reach out to support for support of people who are going to be there, going to be a cheerleader for you, because that's what you're going to need right now is other people who are going to boost you up, especially when you start to go downhill, because it'll happen. Reach out to those people who are going to be there for you to help boost you up, to help you through those rough times that you're going to go through.
Yeah. And you've already taken the first step. You recognized it. It's the beauty of the information age we're on. You went onto a forum and you put it out there. So you've got a instant support group ready to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck. Post it in this chat. Ask us any questions if you want. We can also do call it. Dang, I forgot to start the Podbean again. I bet there's like 100 followers going, Where's the Podbean show? Last on the priority, we'll get it going. I just realized I was talking to Judy yesterday. It's only week 3 of the Effexor withdrawal. It seems like
Yeah.
a lot longer and a lot shorter all at the same time. But my psychiatry appointment is on the 8th, and she scheduled that for a month out when we decided to taper. And I said, F that. I'm going cold turkey, homie. Whew, what a ride. I'm good. I'm much better. I'm not good. The short fuse.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
You're good.
All right.
You're not great or stellar, but you're good.
I'll take it. I'm acknowledging it. It's feeling good to be alive again. That's for sure. It's much different.
It's feeling good to feel.
Yeah. I got some confession stuff to go through here if everyone wants to just entertain me. The short fuse stuff, I cannot. Every time I turn something, Patrick, it's either Dad or Judy. They'll not all the time, but sometimes they'll do something or ask me a question. It's like an instant. Really have to consciously go, dude, chill the fuck out, man. Just calm down. So doesn't happen all the time. It's getting better. I was also on a forum about the Effexor withdrawal for people. And just keep on pushing, keep on keeping on. It's just got to get out of your system, and your brain has to rewire. Everyone's different. So I do want to apologize again to you and Dad if I've seemed short. I feel like it's just this constant fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck off. I'm so sorry.
Well, I told you the other day. It's for me. It's kind of like wearing an itchy wool sweater. You can't. It's just constantly there. It's like that after doing that for a while, eventually you're going to be like, and just kind of explode. And then after that, you're like, oh man, why did I do that? Yeah, we know.
That and the people closest to us, I think I talked about this before. Like, there are times where I'm listening to my wife, and I'm actually, when she's in a dialogue with me, it feels like she's so close in proximity that it's almost that voice inside of my head, right? You should be doing this, or, I need you to do this. And then the first thing you want to be is like, I don't want to fucking do this, So what I'm trying to say is the proximity of the people that are just so close to us, they are to our most vulnerable part of our core as far as other people around us go. So it's very okay to act or have those raw emotional feelings towards it. And it just takes practice, dude. Like you said, you're doing it.
I know. Patrick, what I don't like is this is my confession, the uncertainty of, I was telling Judy when I got back from my run, I'm like, what I don't like is like every day when I wake up, like, what kind of surprise me am I going to get?
Which John are we getting today?
And I mean, I have my foundational core, but it's taken a lot to realize that I've been doing a ton of rebuilding during this and through sobriety. And I do catch myself. I got to give myself some patience and time and give the love back to me. Yesterday, and you know what I found too after quitting the medication is that I have let's just call it a woe is me, feel sorry thing that pops up.
Pity party.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not who I am too. You've caught me. There's stuff that I'm going through on my professional side, that shit that I can't control. But man, it gets into my head and it's so loud and domineering of my thought processes, what I don't like. And I can't, that's, us with ADHD and whatever acronym or alphabet soup you want to throw in there. I'm going to say it. It's fucking impossible to control sometimes. It's not, it's my thing of, oh, John, just chill out, bro.
Just downward dog it. You're fine.
I can't. It's not. I'm sitting there going, shut up. It's like it's fucking loud. There's too much dialogue going on of like what ifs and, oh, look what they're doing. Look at, John, you're a cat. This is one that came out the other day. John, you're being such a coward. Stand up for yourself. I'm like, I am not. I'm not being don't worry, I wasn't in high V walking through the aisles having these loud conversations with myself. But that's what, what's going on in my head. And those are the worst ones where you start. Patrick,
Self-doubt.
Yeah, well, no, just completely fucking berating yourself about something. And you're not doing it. It's like, thoughts come into mind. But I just got to take a deep breath. I caught myself in the kitchen. I was going to get a cup of our evening decaf, and I was like, oh man, I'm starting to I would caught myself. I'm like, if I fucking knock it off. Quit being such a puss about this all the time. You're doing good. Give yourself some credit. Go sit down, have a snack, and continue playing some Diablo 4. Diablo 4, the best game I've ever played in my life. Good job, Blizzard. You doing some redemption for yourself. But
so I think one of our catchphrases is be kind to yourself.
I know it's easier said than done all the time, so much easier said than done. I always say it takes a lot of work. I'm frustrated right now. I wanted to use this time to vent. And Patrick, Judy and I are going to use this show as more of our mental health release. I was thinking about going back to the therapist. Judy was thinking about it too. And at the end of the day, I think we came to a mutual agreement, and that is, I shit you not, this weekly session that we have here is more beneficial than what I get from the therapist.
Well, even the psychiatrist said that this was therapeutic. I told her what we were doing. She says, that's therapy. She says, you're talking about it. That's therapy. I was like,
process that.
Okay.
In a safe space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the advantage is that us three have each other, so we know. I've bullshitted my therapist. There's times when I'm like, I'll just tell this person what they want to hear. Which,
by the way, I was talking to Michelle, Patrick, and she was very stoked about when you, on the last episode where you finally opened up and you were actually had vulnerable issues to talk about. We thought, oh my God, the guru of the show actually is human and has stuff going on. We're like, ooh, bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be able to sort through this stuff. That's just the process. That's the thing. I can't downward dog your way through it. Can't think your way through it. Can't win that battle in your mind. Just gotta accept it for where it's at, and yeah,
just gotta be human.
I just have that quote of the Diamond Dogs like floating through my head, you know, and Roy was like, "You mean like we can just get together and just talk about it and we don't have to like solve anything and nothing has to be done?" Yeah, right. It's like we don't have to solve sobriety. We don't have to solve mental health. We don't have to fix the problems that we're dealing with on a weekly basis. It's just
Yeah, it's just getting them out there.
Getting
And
'em
you know
out.
what? There's always going to be one thing that somebody's going to say that's going to trigger something for somebody else. Everybody else has their own little fix. And it's always going to be, you know, something that I heard from or watched from or you know, felt from somebody else or some other experience that's going to click on that light bulb for me or for somebody else. That's how it works for me.
Yep. And the nice thing is with this is we've come in with no preconceived notions. You know, when you go to a therapist or a professional, even with the best intentions, like you said, John, you're like, you know that they're there to help you, but at the same time, there's just a fundamental emotional connection that you have with people that brings inherent trust. Sometimes you may or may not have that, and sometimes that's hard, or sometimes you're like, you know, if I say this, since they're a professional, are they going to be obligated to report something to me? Is something going to change? What I'm trying to say is like, I could yard sale a bunch of shit with you guys, and knowing that like, knowing no expectations attached to that is very helpful to me. You know, like that, like you said, I'm just trying to venerate the value of the vulnerability. You know, being able to do so truly, you know, it doesn't matter the setting. If you are able to do that, it's very healthy.
Yeah.
Quick reference for some of y'all that may not get it. The Diamond Dogs is just a small little discussion group. It's in Ted Lasso. And if you've not been watching Ted Lasso, I highly encourage that you do.
Yeah. It's very, very awesome.
All right.
Shall we jump in?
I
Do you have anything else to talk about?
Patrick, is there anything you need to tell us?
No, I mean, if you wanted to talk about the Ted Lasso stuff and like how it really, I won't go off on it too much, but I just wanted to say thank you for a series like that shows the vulnerability of, you know, it really kind of went after some images of masculinity that were not normally seen in media. And so being able to talk about mental health and like, you know, seeing grown men say I love you genuinely and like mean it, and it was very I appreciate items like that continuing to come into the space to provide areas, you know, to challenge stuff like that, so we can, you know,
look at
express
dead in the
feelings.
face. Yeah.
Yep.
I really, really appreciated the fact that they brought panic disorders right into the mainstream media. I mean, because you know they were always kind of swept under the carpet, and it's a major thing. A lot of people go through panic disorders, and it's not brought out into the mainstream media, into everybody's line of sight. And I thought that them bringing it out and exposing it was fantastic.
Yeah, the first time he had, so that was like when I was sort of starting to mend from the panic disorders / the whole attack thing.
Yeah.
And man, I was watching, I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit.
He's like, I know exactly what he's going through.
Yeah. So anyway, fantastic series. I was listening to Fly on the Wall with David Spade and Dana Carvey. Fantastic podcast. And he, oh my God. What Sudeikis was on there last week. He was talking about it. Very humble dude, and from our region here, Kansas City. See, that's good people from the Midwest. Very rock solid.
Yeah.
Not everyone. I know some shitbags. Ton of them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, he also addressed, you know, in the Mom City episode, they addressed a lot of I consider it Midwest culture, but it's pervasive elsewhere, the positivity. You know, he had issue with his mom always putting on the mask to seem all right.
Yeah.
You know, and it is important to bring positiveness into a lot of areas, but at the expense of your own mental well-being, it becomes disingenuous and can be dangerous
Yes.
if you cannot. So that whole exchange, I won't ruin stuff, but the whole thank you and the latter, the two halves of when he approached his mom, he said, thank you for doing this and F you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it begins to speak to the complexity of the feelings that we have for the people around us, that both are valid, and we often think in these binary things like, I should be thankful for this person in my life. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to feel angry or vindictive, or those feelings are bad. It's just, we have to process them, John, the people closest to you, right? You're going through something very similar. You're like, fuck you, so I don't know if this is a guy thing, but I always felt like I didn't have any value unless I was contributing, and you got to man up and just deal with it. And, anything bad to talk about, you didn't want to like hinder anybody else with your problems or emotional baggage, as you would call. But it is important for that series to be able to show that both can equally exist. Both feelings of gratitude and frustration can equally exist, and they're not at odds with each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just have to like learn to process and see those for what they're at. So I thought that was a very healthy interaction. I can't be thankful enough for, showing a positive role model of being able to like work through emotions and stuff like that. So
Yep.
Yeah. That's a great show. Fantastic show.
The show is not sponsored by Ted Lasso. All
Just
sincere.
a good show.
Hey, guy. Good morning. Okay. All right, let's jump back into it. Let's go. Patrick Teehan, licensed independent child social worker, LICSW. Just to remind everybody, we're going to be going through reaction videos for the foreseeable future. Oh, hold on. Administrative stuff real quick. Patrick is going on vacation. So the next 2 Saturdays, he will not be here.
We will miss you.
But we have the illustrious Michelle Bergstrom joining us. She will be co-hosting. So we're looking forward to that. I will withhold names, but in case it doesn't happen, but we're meeting 2 of our very good friends tomorrow for coffee. And
As of now.
yes. And she is no spoilers. If this goes together, we're gonna have Patrick. I'll run it by you. You're gonna be intrigued by this.
Preschool.
No spoilers.
Well, I wasn't quite sure where you were going with
She-
no spoilers.
I don't know either. I shouldn't have said it. I regret opening up this conversation. Anyway, this guest that we're gonna have, it's gonna be a small series of discussions because she really wants to get into the sociology and mental health and behaviors of children and growing up, in the 2 paradigms that she sees from a teacher's perspective.
all right.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay, what part of that was not spoiler?
I don't know. It's all. So anyway, Patrick will be gone. Michelle's gonna fill in as co-host, and we got a very special guest coming up. We'll start to schedule that.
Yes.
I think we'll get through
Very excited about that one.
the other 2 or 3 episodes.
There's
of the,
11, right?
Yeah, Patrick
Yeah.
Teehan. So last week we covered Crying Valve, which out of all of these so far, that one was kind of in my opinion, Patrick kind of called it in on this session. I was like, I need some more meat and potatoes for that, because I got a lot from the laughing about the pain, on the spot dissociation, chameleon but don't mix, being tired is a trigger.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got Glass Frog that we're going to go through real quick today. They can all see right through me. So we will pause the music here. By the way, we are doing Harris Heller's newest album, Neon, from Stream Beats. Not sponsored. It is free music. Awesome stuff. I love this particular one, by the way.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay. Switch to browser view. Here we go. Patrick Teahan. 11 oddly specific childhood trauma issues. We are on number 9, cranking through them. By the way, Patrick, I did the count yesterday. We have 24. This is 25 podcasts
Awesome.
in the can, on the record. So.
Number 9, this one's interesting, something that I call glass frog. They can all see right through me. Glass frog is something simply that I made up. It's a species of frog that is completely transparent and you can see all their organs. And it made me think of childhood trauma survivors like myself who struggle with shame and hypervigilance. The idea is the feeling of being completely transparent when you are social, when you're around others. Like you go to a coffee shop and it feels like they all had a meeting before you got there about how about how you're a loser, how you suck. This is what I would experience when I would go. This wasn't exactly conscious. It was just feeling like they were just like, it was feeling like being raw and exposed. This can feel like refrigerator buzz depression where you might not be fully conscious you have this going on until you kind of wake up to it. You know, it feels like being totally exposed to the world. And everyone at work knows that you're this or you're that, or you're late, or you had a fight with your partner, or your tank is on empty, or whatever, or your car's a mess. Shame, hypervigilance. The hypervigilance is being so focused on what other people think. Where it comes from. Again, if major off things are happening at home for the child, developmentally, I'm fascinated by this. They think the teacher might know that mom's an alcoholic or that dad punches walls. I think it's almost wrapped up in a little bit of early object relations about thinking. Children think the adults are almost omnipotent, and they, like when you make a mistake in the bathroom in kindergarten, it's almost like you almost unconsciously assume that other people already know. Shame and hypervigilance. And related to that, abused kids have to come up with strategies of hiding what is going on with them. And think about it. If you've ever tried to sneak into a job after because you're 30 minutes late because you're having a bad morning, that sneaking feeling might have been something you've been doing your whole life, hoping that you're not going to be put on the spot, all of those things. Because we were so vulnerable. It was pretty transparent. Another examples of this is having to hide how fundamentally religious your family was around others who were not, having to pretend or mask your vulnerability due to being abused at home, having insane, hypercritical, abusive parents where you had to hide that you watched a cartoon at a friend's house when you weren't supposed to, or maybe you asked for seconds and you're worried about at the friend's house, and maybe your parents are going to find out and shame you about that. It's feeling like you're already in trouble with the world and you have no defense or anonymity, which isn't true. Some treatment ideas for this one. If you can visualize a bubble or force field around you when you go to the coffee shop for now, or anywhere socially, and that bubble is about your own autonomy and your own anonymity. Another is that people don't know where you come from. People don't know what's going on with you, and it's really none of their business, but your inner child thinks that they might. And besides, these folks, they're way too busy worrying about their own problems in their own lives to be so worried about the fact that we had 2 Pop-Tarts for breakfast and we're a mess or whatever, Another treatment idea is working with a supportive person or a group therapist on naming the shame that comes up for you around this. Dialoguing with our inner child, again, about specifically reparenting them on the idea that what do they think people think about them? If you can nail that, you're really going to know what's going on with a lot of your triggers and your problems, because that's really the root to this glass frog issue. Number 10.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
that
is
is
a juicy.
that
this
is
a juicy
straight up.
opinion.
That is straight up me. That was that is nail on the head right there.
Jump in, babe. What do you got? Let's hear it.
Oh, that was it was that was me constantly when I was a kid. Constantly. And I think it wasn't so much that there was any kind of abuse going on at the house. It was the religious thing for me, because there was so much other non-mainstream religion that was happening that I didn't know how other people were going to react. And the fact that I always thought whenever I walked into a room, everybody was hyper focused on everything that was going on in my life. And I was a glass frog. They could see everything that was going on. They could see that I practice a different religion than everybody else did, that I didn't have the right clothes that everybody else did, that I only had one parent, that I had both my parents, but at the time my parents were divorced, so I only had one live-in parent. I was full on every time I walked into a room. Every time I was hyper vigilant, and I didn't want to make the wrong mistake. I didn't want to make the wrong move. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I did not want to do and step out of line whatsoever. Yeah, that was me all the way. All the way. God, that hit every bell right there.
Yeah, this is a good one. How did you relate to it, John?
I catch myself with a lot of that in my adult life all the time. I gotta ponder a lot of this, and this is stuff I need to work on to continue healing myself, because it's me getting in my own way. All right, here, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you full steam ahead. This is so much in my refrigerator buzz of stuff that I've already fucking got a whole roadmap of concerns about going into the coffee shop to meet our friends tomorrow. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't live in the moment with this stuff. I'm working on it so hard, but I get this. It's making me emotional because it's frustrating. It's like I can't just go do this. It's not even a big deal. This is where the panic really started in the beginning too, because it's the stuff that just creeps in and takes over. I hate it. I know it came from childhood stuff. Some people took this the wrong way when I made the last comment, but my therapist was telling me, believe it or not, John, no one gives a shit about you.
Yeah.
And you got to take that in a good way. That's what this is about. That's
the therapist speaking in our language,
right?
And how it's sarcastic. We know it's not hurtful, and it's nobody else does. It's trying to empower you that you are the one. That cares. It's trying
to get you out of your own head.
Yep.
And stop you from thinking everybody else is hyper focused on you, because right now they're focused on their own crap. You could actually be in a room of 12 people and all of them are glass frogs. So if you're a glass frog and you're thinking that everybody else is focused on you, but they're all glass frogs, they're all thinking the same thing that you're thinking.
Right.
So yeah, it's yeah, this is a heavy one. This is a heavy one. This has got a lot of emotion behind this one.
Yeah, I continue to work on it. I always do. Because it just, like Patrick, when you said, hey, my brother's in town, we're having a pool party, you want to swing by? Like within milliseconds, there's this whole story and visual thing that went down about, in my mind, I went through the whole scenario when we were there and back home, and it did not please me, and it didn't end well.
He already wrote the book.
I want to dig into that here in a few minutes.
I want to know
coffee shop or
how did it respond? How did you react to that?
This is, I feel like, one of those more sneaky, powerful statements, because for me at first it related to Chameleon and Don't Mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. This glass frog sentiment comes from the inability to integrate our other roles with other parts of our interactions. Like, I don't want work to understand friend me, right?
Yes.
I don't want them to understand alcoholic me.
Yes.
Right?
I don't want school to understand the pot smoking me.
So at the very core, remember how I talked about phrasing everything already? Like when we approach something, we're already leading our biases into it. You know, we think this situation, I am a glass frog, or they see right through me.
Hmm.
It is bearing the lead of, if I am exposed, I am vulnerable, and that is bad,
Hmm.
right? So, ergo, I don't want to be exposed. They think you're ultimately positioning yourself that if they see all of me, then that is bad.
Then they're not gonna like what
Do you,
they
s-
see.
do you see how quick that went? If they see all of
Yeah.
me, then that is bad. That is dangerous. That is your mind already just like, this is us learning how to all the little hiding spots that we have created in our mind, all the layers of the defense. Like, this is the glass frog feeling is so persistent. I'm glad he related it to the refrigerator buzz. Like, this is so insidious that it just
Mhm.
hammers itself home all the time, and it masterfully, like, doing this on a regular basis builds so many layers of protection
Mhm.
for you, and you can end up just like burying yourself just under all the fucking shit just to protect yourself from like the worry about being exposed or being judged.
Yeah.
And we build so many stupid constructs in our mind to avoid feeling that pain and avoid feeling that thorn in their side, or avoid the pain of feeling exposed, that we will try to like hermetically seal ourselves around that pain rather than dealing with it directly.
This would
Does
be
that make
where
sense?
the mask would come in, creating the mask,
Yeah.
the
You know,
the false
judging-
persona.
we're judging everybody else based off of their masks that they're presenting, right?
Yeah,
So you're like,
yeah.
oh my goodness. This comes from lack, again, to tie it back to what we talked about. I talked about Ted Lasso and having good role models and being able to feel free and emote.
Hmm.
If you do not have that in your life, if you do not have anybody else to identify with, if you don't have a connection, your brain's going to automatically feel isolated, and ergo I don't fit in, ergo I'm rejected,
Hmm.
right? So I need to conform to a certain way, and that's where this glass frog feels, is like there's a disconnect. They're like, I need to present as X, but I am full of Y, and if they see Y, I'm toast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I need to present as a good person, but I have this in my past. I feel shame. If they see that, then I am fucking toast.
Yeah.
I will not be a valid human anymore. And
I also think it could stem from parents or grandparents as well, because this gets handed down. If you act or appear vulnerable, and your parents or grandparent or whoever authority figure says that's not right, then that's how you start off at a young age. That's not right to act that way. That's not right to be vulnerable and show yourself the way you are. You need to put up that persona. And so for years and years and years, you do that. And to try and be in your 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s, and work on trying to tear that down. And you're right, it's insidious. It gets in there and it just roots like a plant, like a tree, and just roots right into everything you think about. And even thinking about going over to somebody's house and getting in the pool, all of a sudden, all those roots that are in there just squeeze, and there you go.
so, because this one is so insidious, and you're absolutely right. I like the root analogy, because it's just so little over time, and it just intertwines itself over everything. I like his approaches to this. You know, for me, this is one of the most powerful, and it sucks. I'm reading a book called Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Very good if you're into it speaks of mindfulness and being able to use the power of your observer to kind of understand what's going on here. So when we feel anxious and to have the glass frog, when we have that feeling arise, it is what we talked about immediately. It is that mechanism to start building the walls, right? It's the one that senses like, hey, hey, get that fucking wall up now. You're feeling vulnerable here.
Yeah.
And this is what the power of this is. This is a very work here is very fruitful, but it's some of the most painful. And what I mean by that is when the glass frog comes in and says, you are vulnerable here, instead of saying like, oh my God, this sucks, or, you know, like, this is a wayfinder. And Patrick Teahan said this, like, if we can talk about why you feel like a glass frog in that situation. I don't want them to see me because I have a different religion, or I don't want them to know that I'm an alcoholic because they will judge me less. If we can dig into that specific point that we're feeling transparent on, that is the wayfinder of what we're trying to protect.
Yeah. Why we
Meaning,
feel
like,
shame.
Why we feel shame.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, you know, our points of resistance are not items holding us back, but they're there to let us know where we are ready to start letting go of items, right? They are also our navigators in life. They, you know, that knowing where the boundaries exist is items where we can work on to expand ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm getting kind of out there with some of these
No,
concepts, right?
I totally understand that. It's you know where those boundaries are, and it gives you an idea of kind of where you can push a little bit on those boundaries. Try and just, you know, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but I think I can do it. Let's see if I can push that just a little bit. I know it's not going to hurt me. I know it's not going to hurt anybody else. And it might be even beneficial. So let's see if I can push that just a little bit, you know, push myself out of that comfort zone a little bit.
So, John, I don't want to pick on you, and know that I love you. And I'm going to ask a question here. Like, if we can take a small example here of the pool, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of like, generally, and there's no wrong answer to this, is like, what was one of the first things that popped in your head when I asked you if you wanted to come hang out at the pool?
No shade.
Why does no shade bother you?
Because it's gonna make me physically uncomfortable, and then it's gonna root into a lot of other things right now.
Go ahead.
Because I'm really, man, this is gonna be a very emotional show today. I'm gonna start crying, and that's okay.
It's okay.
We can. Hey,
No, I want to talk about it.
No expectations here, and I got you.
We got one of these for you.
Yeah, I want to talk about it because it's that. There'll be no shade. I've never even been to your pool, Patrick, so I don't know. But there'll be no shade. I'm gonna start sweating because it's humid. I'm gonna start answering questions haphazardly, and I'm gonna start telling Judy that I want to go home soon already.
You are expecting discomfort.
Yes. What I'm realizing with these examples, and we'll get into the coffee shop one tomorrow, is that I've had to relearn a ton of, I guess, just foundational social exercises, and I didn't realize that was going to be such a struggle when I got sober. Because the flip side of it is 2 years ago, Judy and I would just come over and we'd be partially buzzed already, so it doesn't matter. And the social interaction would just be there, and we'd be drinking and everything would be fine. So I think that's where all the preconceived notions start to come from. It makes me start to feel panicked. Like the coffee shop thing, I enjoy those interactions, but in the past I wouldn't have done it, and we would have met at a bar instead.
Yeah.
and the drinking would lubricate, and those emotions wouldn't even be there because I'd be having a good time that way.
Well, they'd be masked.
Yeah. But I'd still be having a good time. There just wouldn't have to be any of the I don't know. I know I'll be fine. I know that, but it's that immediate buildup that in the beginning of this, that's what made me borderline agoraphobic about stuff. Is I started to become afraid to go to the store, to go to Home Depot. You know, just because all of a sudden I got confused about how raw I was with emotion, and all of that just constant flood and constant thought. And then thinking about, oh, what if I have a panic attack? That would start to make me have panic. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to pass out in the aisles. I'm going to just be laying there for a minute, and then someone's going to have to call 911. Then I'm going to get up. I'm going to be fine, but I don't know.
Hey, John.
It's a mess.
John,
Yeah.
I'm super fucking proud of you.
Thanks, Patrick.
I love you, man.
I love you too.
You showed up. You gave some good wayfinders, and I'm going to ask a few more questions. Those social interactions that you talked about when you're buzzed, do you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that? You love connecting with people?
Those interactions were fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He was very, very sociable. He was when he was engaged, he was very engaged.
What'd you enjoy talking about? Like, are you a person that kind of would like to find related items to talk about with the person? Did you enjoy sharing stuff that you were working on? Did you enjoy learning about them?
All of that. There was no. Well, I guess there was also a personification, and that is, oh, this is John. Look how much he can drink, and he's a real fun guy, and he knows a lot of stuff, and it's just, it's that, and all of that is gone. It had to go away.
So,
he knows a lot about beer.
Yeah.
Do you think, if you didn't have the alcohol, that you could be a fun guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
He is. I mean, well, I think he is.
Do you, and if you were without the alcohol, do you think you can make those social connections?
I can. It's just really boring for me right now.
Why is it boring for you?
Because I'm not getting it feels like I have to work to absorb the social, the whole social presence of it all.
Sounds like you're working to intently be present. Do you feel like you were doing that when you were drunk?
No. So I guess that's the paradox. I realized yesterday on my run that, Patrick, for the shit that I'm going through in my dramatic life event right now, that I am in this position, and it's not a very good one. It's going to pan itself out. But I'm in this position because I got sober. Oddly enough. It allowed my brain to start to heal, and my words became something that I never would have done in the past. I've became extremely honest. I became very vulnerable. And I realized that sometimes you get to the point to where people are like, hey, you got to be honest and open, until I tell you to fucking not be so honest and open anymore, because I don't like how far you're taking it. It's the hypocrisy of it all. And I've become pretty vocal and verbal about stuff, and because my sober mind has healed and created another channel for how I've always been needing and wanting to communicate. So I know the example is hope they're not watching. They'll be like, oh my God, this guy's gonna come fucking unhinged at the coffee shop tomorrow. It's not like that at all.
No, they know you are.
I'm just being on. These are the little things that a lot of people that have our disease experience, and they don't. It's not talked about. That's where people get anxious, and it's where the anti-anxiety medication is a drink immediately or before. That's how we used to operate. You and I realized we had a hard time going out over to Sarah and Emily's and other places because we weren't doing our timeline of figuring out how drunk could we get to safely drive there and continue to drink and then
Safely drive home.
or unsafely just fucking not kill anybody.
Yeah.
But by
terrible.
the time we would always get it,
Absolutely terrible.
that the birthday party we ended up at like a year ago, man, there was people mild, the non-alcoholics, the Sarahs of the world, Patrick, they were there drinking, and that wasn't the thing, but it was like we were in the middle of 20 people and we were like, we do not fucking want to be here at all, because if we would have been drinking, it's the just chug a beer. Are we in the clear to now be normal with people? Nope. Have a glass of wine. Okay, now.
Now we can
Now
be,
the anxiety has been suppressed. Now we can be ourselves.
All right.
Also-
Here, I got some.
Also
Go ahead.
going back to the glass frog theory is once I have enough drinks, I no longer feel that like I'm a glass frog, or I no longer care that people are thinking or criticizing or looking at something that I think they shouldn't see.
Right.
That whole feeling after a few glasses of wine, after a few beers, after whatever, that all goes away.
So this is such an apt metaphor. So going back to the questions around the pool, could you easily say that in the past you felt like you needed alcohol to be social?
Yes.
It's just short summarizing it.
Yeah, 100%.
Back to the glass frog. You mentioned like being out in the sun, being fully exposed and uncomfortable, sweating and like quite literally being exposed and vulnerable. Could you make a social connection in that state?
Yes. I know where you're going with this, Patrick. And I'm trying to, but maybe. So to answer your question, yes, I could. But I'm trying to also temper that because I'm starting to feel like maybe it's a little off-putting for me to constantly go, hey, hi, I'm John. I'm an alcoholic. I'm having social anxiety right now, so please bear with me. That's what I want to tell people. But some people might be like, what the fuck? I don't want to hear this guy. It's too much. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
Is that
TMI.
not a glass frog in itself?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I just got it. Do you watch Only Murders in the Building? Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Is
well
that
there's
Selena Gomez and
Martin Short and
Martin
Steve Martin.
Short, yeah.
Okay, well there's one scene where Steve Martin is standing in a party setting, and he's standing there, and some people he doesn't know walks up to him, and he says, "Hi, people say that I'm very awkward in social situations." That's his opening line, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect."
Yeah.
That would be exactly what he kind of just said. People say I'm awkward in social situations. That would be turn around and walk the other way.
Yeah. I'm working on it. It keeps getting better. It'll take time. But I think you had another question, Patrick.
I'm like, I was just gonna ask, along that line, like, what would happen if you were to just introduce yourself, like, hey, John, hey, I'm John, I'm all about being sober. Not, I'm an alcoholic, and now I just like talking about it on my podcast and everything. What's up?
You know what? I think he would either get people who are interested in it, or they just wouldn't be interested in it and walk away. It would be either be 50-50, I think.
Or your brother Patrick be like, what the fuck?
Who is this Jagoff you just brought up to the party?
Maybe, or he could be like, like, well, my brother does it too, so I can see why you two get along. Or, there's a whole.
Yeah. I think it would be completely hit or miss. They could either not be interested, or he could make a stellar connection.
And if they made that connection after he made that statement, how much more genuine do you think that would be, rather than like, hi, my name is John. I'm
Patrick's friend.
Yeah, I'm Patrick's friend, or like where you give your resume, like you're doing like, I've been a professional for 30 years. I'm accoladed in these areas. I do, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Where you're so worried about presenting your face. Like, how do you think that reaction would be? If he reacted positively, how much more genuine do you think that reaction would be?
It would. I don't know how to summarize it, Patrick. It's not okay. If we did, the interaction would be just fine. I'd have a good time. I know that. But there's that rebuilding part of still the broken habits of those years. It's like, no. So it's the paradox. But that one takes over a lot now. It's getting better to where it's not so loud. But I like how this discussion is going, but going back, it's the habit that I don't like that I have is that the illusion of what could happen already gets created so fast.
You write the book.
Yeah. So Judy asks, hey, do you want to go this? Do you want to do that? It's like, I can't just say, yeah, that sounds like fun. I think that'd be nice and relaxing. And I could sit back and my heart wouldn't pound and I would have a good time. Instead, I'm still in that like flight, fight, or fuck off phase to where it's like you want to go to a coffee shop and meet some friends. Like, fuck, what? No. Why? Why do we? No. It's a defense mechanism that is wildly irrational and uncomfortable, and I hate it being there.
How about instead of trying to get rid of it, you love it? How could, for what higher purpose would that be showing up for you? Like, how could you treat it different if telling it to fuck off is not working? How could you accept it?
I don't know.
If you asked it, if it was a person that was like always there being like, John, you got to look out for this. They're out to fucking get you. Like if you show up there, dude, buddy, you might as well like show up naked as a blue jay because you're going to get fucked. Right? What would you say to that person? If say it was a good friend that you knew for a long ass time and he was going off on that rant, what would you say to the person? You don't, and you can't tell them to fuck off.
I would say that's irrational, very overreactionary. And you're just going to have a cup of coffee and relax and talk to some friends about something that you really want to do. It'll be okay.
Yep. For me, I can't speak to him rationally, because he'll call me out and he's like, dude, I know you're going to sit down. You're going to freak out about the cup of coffee. The best I can do is tell that guy like, hey man, appreciate you looking out. And I know you're going to be like looking over my shoulder during that cup of coffee and you're going to have to like get in word edgewise, but look, you know, I got this. It's going to be all right. Even if it does, you got my back. You can get me out of there. If something freaks out, you're there. And I appreciate you being so vigilant. But can I just enjoy a fucking chat with my friend? Just do me that solid.
Yeah.
Get me through that.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not going to get I've come to the realization these items, like we talked about, these pieces of resistance in the glass frog, are not items to rid ourselves of. These are our wayfinders. These are things that we have to, you know what, not have to, we get to embrace. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, hey, you got somebody that's looking out for you, like 24/7. Oh, he's like, you know, I just want to make sure we're doing all right. You're comfortable, John. I just want to make sure you're not uncomfortable.
I know,
You know
but
what?
but that same protector sent me to the fucking emergency room with a full-blown panic attack.
Yeah, so now you get to tell him like, hey, dude, I get you. You're looking out, but you know, if you get a little too much in my business, it doesn't work out for both of us. So you're gonna have to let me drive part of the way.
That helps.
It sounds so weird trying to negotiate with him. Like, look, I get it. You're gonna have one hand on the steering wheel. You're just that present. You're gonna be there. You're gonna be worrying about everything. All right, but just like I said, just do me solid and let me, you know, chat with my friend. You know, you can go worry about this. You know, give him something else to worry about. Or you know, what I'm trying to say is to continue to have a dialogue instead of just, because the more you just say fuck off, I don't want to talk to you, the more that resist persists. The more you try to push it away, it's in your head. You're not going to be able to shut him out, right? So you might as well at least acknowledge the space that he's in there immediately.
Yeah. And I know that this is, and I know this stuff, Patrick, you know I do. I do need to hear it more often too from, you know, people like you and Judy. I need that encouragement. And I know that right now, see, I'm only 3 weeks in of quitting Effexor, 150 milligrams cold turkey. That, you know, when you come off of a psychotropic and realizing that a month ago, this would be a different conversation because I'd be like, sure, I'll be there. Fuck it. Not going to have fun though, but whatever. Cause I don't have the emotional capacity anyway. At least I'm not depressed and I'm not going to have a fucking panic attack. So.
Yeah. The response would have been like, yeah, I would be there, but not mentally.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
would you really be there?
No, it's that.
He'd be there about 75%, roughly. 65, 75%.
I would, but this is, people need to hear this, Patrick. This is a good example of why, you know, after you can get past whatever you're dealing with, look at maybe coming off of psychotropics so you can experience this, have these raw emotions and deal with the regrowth that you need to do.
Yeah. When you've gone through your trauma, when you've gone through whatever you need to go through and you're in a better space to deal with, you know, the stuff that you need to deal with, definitely I would highly recommend, if you can, to go off of them.
Okay. We're
We're at 11.
we're at
good.
11:05. This has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, thank you very much.
You guys.
I have a lot.
Great advice.
I have a lot
Great
to
advice.
ponder.
Yes,
No
you
advice.
do.
We just talked stuff through, and
No, I meant what you told him regarding having the inner dialogue. That was I think spot on.
it just goes back to have the diamond dogs in your head.
Yeah.
You know, like I too, and like I have to thank you because me talking to you about it helps me as well. You know, I'm not going to be able to solve it, and meaning as much as I know the material and would like to spout stuff out, you cannot skip to the end. You have to process it. Like going through it, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yeah.
and everybody's is going to look a little bit differently. Just know those spaces, John, where, you know, to have those dialogues, and I understand the invitation for my place is always open for you, and
Do you have an umbrella?
we have multiple umbrellas.
Is there shade there?
I am of Irish descent, so yes, it's got to happen. The point is,
Buddy, no.
even if you showed up and said, "Nope, fuck, I'm out," or "I can't do this," I'd be like, "All right, John, I'll catch you on the next time," or "We'll go for a run tomorrow," or "John, I see you, I love you, and you're still my friend. I'll be here when you're ready."
I appreciate it, Patrick. I really do. That's why I love you.
Love, man.
Okay. We're going to wrap it up. Michelle, I'll get with you in the next couple days. We got to get your situation sorted out of how you're going to join. No biggie. No big deal.
Did you see what she wrote?
I'm so glad that you found a place to be open and vulnerable about your journey. It helps me get to know you better. I love you, John. Love you too, Michelle. Okay, yes, Mom. Reminds you of doing inner child work, becoming my loving inner parent rather than critical inner parent. I know, it takes just lifetime of practice doing that, though. All right.
Life is a journey.
Yep, let's wrap it up. Ozzy is not tolerating us being in here for more than an hour, so we got to go.
He's like a 2-year-old. He just... Well, you know all about that, Patrick.
Yeah. Next week, Michelle, brace your, you don't have to, we'll do a cold watch. Judy and I haven't watched it, so you're going to watch it live with us, Patrick T, and we're going to watch Sideways Grief or Pain. That
Or
sounds...
rage.
Oh.
Sideways grief or rage.
Okay. I see pain. Sideways Grief or Rage. Yeah, see, Judy's reading the big text. I'm reading the small. Good.
Either one is fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Ozzy. All right. Remember, 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you have suicidal thoughts or ideations, or you know someone that's going through that, please call that number. Talk to a friend, talk to a loved one. If you're going through dependency and alcoholism and drug use, abuse, you, a friend or a loved one or someone you know, you need to figure out a jump-off point, a starting point, and a way to get you pointed in a good direction. Contact Al-Anon. Just call, get online. There's all kinds of virtual groups now that you can join, and they'll give you a path to get going. Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
Easier said than done, but just do it. Judy, I love you very much. Thank you.
I love you too. Thank you
for dealing with me. Dad, I know you're
Thanks for
downstairs
opening up.
watching. Thanks for being patient with me as of late. You mean the world to me. I love you very much. Patrick, I love you. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your vacation, Patrick.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you.
But are you going to watch or anything or no? Just
I'll at this time next weekend both.
driving.
No, I'll be in the air.
Oh, never mind.
So
All right. Enjoy your time.
I will.
I'll keep you posted
Love
on,
you, Patrick.
on what's going on with
Love you guys.
my situation too. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye.